What's up, guys? nethervvoid here with more World of Tanks for you on the 8.9 test server. I had some requests to test out the stuff on 8.9 test, and I was just hoping it was still up, which it obviously is if you're seeing this. These are games that are just hot off the press. I just got out of the new Tier 9 German tank destroyer. Now, this thing does not have the autoloader. One cool thing about it, so it's got really nice pen. Let's look at the pen here. It's got 276 pen, 500 damage, 560 damage, which is insane for a Tier 9. That's awesome. It does not have an autoloader. You don't get that till Tier 10. One of the cool things about it, though, is you unlock the largest gun on it, and it actually does unlock the gun on the Tier 10. So you definitely want to unlock the biggest gun on this thing, which I think is just a higher caliber, less pen, more damage gun. It's like 700 and something damage, but only like 236 pen or something like that. I think it's the same gun that's on the E100. I'm not exactly positive about that. I'm sure it's got some upgraded stats, but it's very similar to that gun. So I'm just going to check real quick my recording, because I want to make sure this microphone's not turned up too high. Sometimes it does that on me. Nope, it's perfect. So there's a nice hit on that Lorraine 40-ton. Another thing you're not seeing here in this replay is they did actually add a reload timer to the normal display, to the regular vanilla display. You don't really need a mod for that anymore, which is pretty cool. So I've got I'm waiting for this target to show up again. A couple more shots, he's going to be dead. This thing reloads fairly quickly as well for such a huge gun. Mobility is insane. I like that. One thing that I've noticed now, especially with adding more reloader or autoloaders like this, and why am I not sighting in on that? Here we go, here we go. Boom! So if I had an autoloader, this guy'd already be dead. But one thing I'm predicting, well, you're going to see it in this video, is with all these new autoloaders coming out, even more than ever, with high pen autoloaders, it's not going to matter what armor you have. All that's going to matter is your mobility and, let's see, mobility and, you know, what's that called? Your gun depression ability, stuff like that. And then, you know, how much DPS you can put out, really. You'll see in the next part of this is actually I only had one game in this Tier 9 because I had such a good game. I did everything I needed to do to show you how good it is. Now, in the Tier 9, on the Tier 9 crew, I went with a crew that was for repairs. I went with a repair crew. But on my Tier 10, I went with a camoed out crew with a camo net. I'm not sure how much difference it really made, but I think it made some, because I felt like there were times where I should have been... I took a quick shot at that guy because I did not want to just sit out there. Probably should have shot at the cupola. But anyway, it seemed like I should have been spotted in my Tier 10 a little bit more than I was, and I think my crew had something to do with that. Now remember, camo nets especially have extra stat, you know, basically extra hiding power versus other tanks. And I know they've buffed the camo stuff for TDs lately. I don't know if that's really going to help with those huge volume TDs. Seems like it shouldn't, but it might. So one of the differences between the German autoloaders and a lot of the other autoloaders is the German guns have accuracy. They also have really nice aim time. So I think they're going to be a lot more competitive as autoloaders than really any other platform. But they're not going to come out with heavies, I don't think, that are autoloaders. They might, I guess, or mediums or anything like the Americans have, because I think it would just be too overpowered. The American autoloaders are already pretty awesome with their aim times and accuracies, but if you gave a German tank that kind of aim time and accuracy on like a heavy autoloader, it would be ridiculous. I mean, this thing is not as fast. There we go, you're dead. So I end up killing the Lorraine. Only took 3 shots. But not that you really need a heavy anymore, because again, like I've said, armor is meaningless. All that matters is your mobility. So what you really want is like a light tank with 2,000 hit points with crazy mobility and the biggest DPS gun you can possibly get. So here's the tortoise on the side. I should be able to get this guy. Let's do this. Come on. There we go. I didn't hit him for 900. Some other person and myself hit him at the same time. So let's go for a cupola shot, maybe. Let's see, cupola shot. Yes! Actually, I think I landed on the roof plate right there. So we're pretty much tearing these guys a new one. We didn't get a lot of people in this battle because everybody's playing Tier 10. So There's not a lot of gun depression on these new TDs. There's some, but it's not like what you would expect like from an American tank, which is fine. You know, that's not what the Germans are known for. It's probably better to gun depression than the Russian tanks, but it basically, you know, it's decent but not great. And you're going to see it in a couple other games how I use the gun depression to my advantage. But so it looks like basically what these are is horizontal artillery pieces. That's really all they did. They took the arty and they just lowered the gun and probably changed the round and stuff like that. But still, it looks, I mean, look at that. It looks like an artillery piece, right? But it's on a quote-unquote TD. And, I mean, there we go. Here we go. So here's an Object 704. Oh, oops. There we go. I sighted right in on the side of his mantlet there. With 276 pen, you're pretty much going to go through anything, even without gold rounds, which is really nice. With this tank, you should not have to spend gold rounds, because the gold round, let's look at that. Oh, I can't see it now, but it's not much more. It's in the 300 range, but 276 is pretty high, especially for your tier 9. But what you want to do is, if you're going to want to use the larger gun, the higher caliber gun for the 700 damage, is you're going to want to use the gold rounds. You'll get like 334 pen or something like that instead of the 230 something, which is just basically like the E100. If you're running the E100, you definitely want to run it with gold because the pen's pretty low. So let's get some tier 10 games now. I got a few of them to show you. Luckily, a lot of them are not very long, so that's why I'm going to show you a few of them. So let's go look at that tank. Hold on a sec. So here's the first game I'm going to show you in the tier 10. It's, what's it called? WT Auf E100. Basically, pretty fast little TD, a lot like the tier 9. It's a little bit slower than the tier 9. Again, it basically looks like an artillery unit, you know, a horizontal arty piece. I mean, it even has some of the same gun pieces on it that look like an arty. Again, pretty fast. I think on this thing I went gun lane, drive, optics, and then the camo net. But you could pretty much do whatever you want. There are no vents on these two tanks. There are no vert stabs on the autoloaders. I'm not even sure there's a vert stab on the tier 9. I'm not even sure. There is a gun rammer on the tier 9. On the tier 10, it does not have a vent, a vert stab, or a gun rammer. So you basically have 3 slots with whatever you want. So here's what's pretty much going to happen now in tier 10 games. I'm rolling up on this side. You're pretty much bound to have some TDs, trying to hide a little bit. We've got 2 E100s here, WT E100s. Here's a T57. He's just getting double beasted down. Did not pin him that time, but boom, he's dead. Now I'm almost dead because there was 2 of these autoloaders on us too. Or no, that was a 268. He's dead. So boom, beasted him down. I think I also probably got hit by an artillery shell, or maybe this guy right here. So I hit him in the mantlet. Not great. Remember, 278 pen on this thing, because I do have the lower gun, and I'm dead. I think that's going to be pretty standard for tier 10 games, just because now all these autoloaders are everywhere, and so you're going to get in and out of the game quick. I got like 1,800 damage in this game, and I was in it for like 10 seconds and got 2 kills. So that's pretty standard. Let's get another one. So here's another game. This is actually a pretty good game I had on Serene Coast. This time I've got the Top Gun loaded, which has a pretty low AP shell. Yeah, 235 pen, 750 damage. Again, I'm pretty positive this is the E100's gun. Now I'm loading the gold shell just to see. This is pretty much what you're going to be loading this thing anyway if you're doing it in clan wars or any kind of tournaments. So 334 pen, 750 damage. And if you're going to use this big gun, you're going to have to use the gold shells. Yeah, these are pointless to even show you. So 334 pen, 750 damage. Another thing to note, and this is why I say that lower gun is probably the better gun anyway, is that you only get 4 shells with this thing. So you're going to put, look, what's that? 3,000 damage per clip. On the other one, you have 6 shells of 560 or something like that. So that's a little more than 3,000. You probably won't hit all of, get all of them on target. But the one thing I do like a little bit better is you can do it with AP rounds. They actually have better penetration. So I hit him there for 800 and something. Thought I could get another shot. Maybe I could get another one. Also, you're going to have to reload more often with this gun. So here, I'm going to have to reload. The reload's about 50-something seconds, if I remember correctly. It takes quite a long time. I don't know why the counter's not showing up in the replay here. But they do have them in-game on the vanilla HUD, so that's kind of cool. So, this is where you can kind of use this thing to your advantage. Not only is it an autoloader, it also has a turret on it, rotating gun. That's just so awesome. It makes the thing so powerful. In fact, this is going to be pretty much the most OP tank in the game. This is going to ruin Tier 10 battles. I guarantee it. Even if they nerf it, it's going to ruin it. Because it's got that turning turret. It's got the massive amount of damage and stuff. I did get hit hard right there for almost 1,000. Again, that's pretty typical of Tier 10 games now. In my opinion, they're ruining Tier 10. Tier 10 was best back in the day when only heavies were Tier 10s. Armor was meaningful, and there weren't super high pen guns, and there weren't gold rounds for credits. There are all these things that have basically, you know, autoloaders and all that have ruined Tier 10. So here you can see, now that I have an autoloader, okay, he's dead, so I didn't get my shot off. Let's see if I can just get one shot off on these guys before I reload here. But yeah, they're pretty much ruining any kind of Tier 10 and gameplay, which is pretty sad because Tier 10 gameplay was pretty fun before. And War Thunder, people hate the end gameplay there because they don't want to fight jets or the jets. How did I not scratch him with a 334 pen? I'm not really sure, but it is what it is. So I'm waiting for reload here. This is a really good spot because I can get just my turret over the side. I have seen a lot of people drive this thing backward. That would work because this thing does drive a lot like the 4502B, where you basically have the gun is loaded on the back of the tank, not the front. The problem is if you're going to drive backward, is it's really hard. At least it was hard for me to get used to. Forward is backward and backward is forward. So you can kind of get screwed up when you think you're hiding behind a rock. You actually move out further and get jacked. So it depends. If you can find a hold down position like this, it doesn't matter what direction your hull is because only your turret's sticking out. Now, I haven't talked about armor on these things because the armor is basically pointless. This thing does have a 200mm armor fuselage, hull, but it has like no armor on the turret. So people know that they're gonna be gunning for the turrets. They're not even gonna aim. So I'm relocating. I think I did about 4,000 damage in this game overall, partially because this gun does hit so hard. And with 4 rounds, you're going to be able to pretty much kill someone in one clip. You can kill any tank in the game, I think, with this gun with gold rounds in one clip. The reload between shots is 3 seconds on this top gun. I'm not really sure what it is on the other guns or on the Tier 9s or anything. I didn't really check. But that's another thing that you can see on the vanilla, the stock UI. You get to see not only the time to reload the whole magazine, but also the time to reload between magazine shots. So that's kind of neat. And I don't recall any mods having that capability. So anyway, you can see the mobility of this thing, pretty decent for how big it is and everything. Don't really have to aim much with this thing. Fire from the hip, keep moving, keep DPSing. Again, in my opinion, Tier 10 games are ruined. And bringing Artie back is not going to help. Because they have just added... You can get too much damage out too fast. It's just... It was pretty bad before, when you get caught by one autoloader and you'd be almost dead or dead. But now it's like multiple autoloaders are going to be, sniping you out. You pop out, you're dead. 2 or 3 guys jack you up and kill you. So, I mean, that's not fun. You pop out to look a little bit and you're dead. This is going to cause a lot more camping. I'm guarantee it. The only way the way they're going to cause less camping is to bring back armor. That's so people feel like, hey, I can take a peek, and if I angle correctly, I can probably get a bounce. Or I'm only going to get hit maybe 50% of the time. If popping out means you're going to die, nobody's ever going to pop out. So you actually just made it worse, man. You're not better. So I don't know why they're doing this. Do they want to make Tier 10 games not last as long, or... I don't know, because now on the test server, people are pretty aggressive. Not only because it's a test server, but also because there's a lot of Russians on the server, and the Russian playstyle is a lot more aggressive than the NA, and especially more aggressive than the Chinese server or the Asian server, whichever place it is. Those guys camp hardcore. So this stuff is going to make them basically never move. Their games are going to be like molasses. So while this tank is fun to play, I think it's bad for the game. I don't think it's good to have any more autoloaders in the game. Especially with this kind of mobility and how fast you can kill a tank. I just think it's not going to make the game more fun at all, really. It's going to be fun for people who love to camp already. But you know what? The game would be better off if we had less campers, not more. And I think the majority of the people would agree with me there. So, you know, but it is what it is. There's not a lot, I don't know, less wargaming. There's got to be a monetary reason behind this. There's some kind of money thing behind this. Because if there wasn't, they wouldn't be doing it. So anyway, that's a pretty decent game with the Top Gun. I'm going to show you a couple more derp, or I have one more derp game, I think, and then another nicer game with the starter gun, which I think is, in my opinion, the better gun, because I don't use a lot of gold rounds. So anyway, be back. Hold on. So here's another game. This is on Hills in Encounter. I'm going to go post up with the arty. I don't know why they put all the TDs over in this group when the place for TDs is pretty much where that artillery is on the minimap. So this is with the lower gun. This is not really a good game. I just wanted to show you a little bit of like what I'm talking about. So let's fast forward this a little bit. I'm just getting into position. It's kind of boring. So right here I'm in position. This is where the turret really helps a lot. I can turn my gun and just kind of position myself with as low a profile as possible. Now I'm just kind of looking for targets. So let's look at the pen on this gun before we get any further. 276, 560 damage, 352 pen, 560 damage. So the gold round's even better on this gun as far as pen. So here I'm trying to do the backward thing I saw people do. So let's look at it real quick because I don't think I do anything right here. So you can see that is a little bit better when you're popping out. The problem is not screwing up when you pop out. So now I just got hit. I think there are 2 autoloaders. Yes, 2 autoloaders there. Boom, I'm dead. That's how fast it's going to go down. Now this guy's about to die. So that's going to be, I think, tier 10 games pretty much. It's either going to be like that, where you die in like 2 seconds, or it's going to be a huge, long camp fest. So again, I think autoloaders are really bad. They either need to dial them back. I always thought kind of only the French guys would have autoloaders, but apparently everybody's getting them now. So let's get one more game. Hold on. So here's the last game I'm going to show you on these new German autoloading TDs. So as you can see here, again, I have the lower gun. To me, this is the better gun. I like the 6-round magazine, especially when you're going to be basically popping out and shooting without... You can't spend a lot of time even sitting out there to shoot, because you're going to get shot a couple times or 3 by autoloaders just aimed in on your position. So it's more, there's a lot... Tier 10 games, even less fun from now on. The funny thing, I think the even more interesting thing is, a lot of the Tier 10 heavies have not had any upgrades since this period where they're adding all these insane pen, high-powered autoloading guns. Like tanks that used to be pimped out, like the IS-7 used to be the king. Now they're horrible. Who would ever play a mouse? I mean, it doesn't have autoloader, it doesn't have any mobility. The armor's pointless. That's the whole thing about the mouse is its armor. The gun is pretty bad. So why would you ever play that tank, you know? It's playing an autoloader. So I think they're really, really wrecking Tier 10 games. You can look right here. There's 3 autoloaders right here, all different kinds. T-57, FOC 155, myself. What else do we got over here? IS-7, E4, and another E100 autoloader. So here we go. There's a 50B, another autoloader. So the game is all autoloaders now. It's just stupid. And you can see, look at this pack. It's like 8 of us rolling up on this one side. And I think you're going to see a lot of this. We auto-loading wolf packs, you know? It's like, who cares if you even take damage? We got like 8 guys over here. So I'm not going to reload because we're about to see some more enemies that I can pop. So 29 or 30 on rough, that's not bad. Well, this is probably considered medium terrain, but 33, 34. And this thing is pretty mobile. Oh, man, a shot for, okay. So we're rolling this side. I think you're going to see this a lot, too, in Tier 10 games. I mean, you would if people would get out from behind the freaking rocks. Oh, I can't get hit. I'm going to die. I mean, look at this. We're rolling this team. There's nothing they're going to be able to do about it. We got too many big guns right here. If we see someone, they're dead. So there we go. Here's an autoloader. 600-something damage. Boom! I just did 1,100 damage to that guy, 1,200, and he gets taken out by the other autoloader. No, the IS-7 takes him out. So we have so much firepower rolling around right now that forget it, man. You get spotted over here, you're dead. You might as well just get out of there. But this works. Look at this, just mob up. Because it's actually pretty effective. So, you know, let me fast forward it a tiny bit here. We're just rolling around the corner. Now I'm reloading. This is, again, the reload is pretty long. Like I said, it's 50-something seconds, I think. So there's another E100 autoloader. Here's an E5 and a T69. Single shot tanks now are pretty much pointless. In randoms, anyway. Now, I thought this T69 was going to drop behind us, which would have been a good idea. He didn't. I would have. You could shoot people in the back? Heck yeah. With an autoloader? Oh, yeah. So I'm kind of waiting for him to juke us right there. And he's not doing it so far. Okay, now he's getting hit, so pretty much you're done. There it is. He's dead. So this many tanks together was already pretty insane, but with autoloaders on them, it's like, forget it, you know? You're gonna die right when we see you. There's another one. 1,300 damage. That guy's dead. Boom, he's dead. He went from full to dead. T100, 110E4. Full to dead in like 2 seconds. I mean, that's not even arty. Think if they didn't make changes to arty and we had games like this. So here's a T57 coming up here. Let's shoot him in the face. I probably shot him right in the mantlet, so that didn't really work. There we go, and he's dead. So he was unloading some DPS into me, but that's because he has an auto-loading gun. If he didn't, he would have got one shot into me, and then he would have died. So I'm not too worried, even though I'm pretty low on hit points, because it's all about spotting people and then just everybody beasting them down. Here's a full E100. This could be bad news. Let's get him right in the side of the turret here. Look, he's almost dead. And no, I thought I was going to get the last shot on him. I'm on reload now, so I'm out of the game for 50-something seconds. And you're dead. Look at this craziness. This is Tier 10 games now, guys. Welcome to Tier 10 retardedness. I'm not even using gold rounds. This is just AP. So, yeah, that's the game. Can you believe that? Like 4 minutes to basically kill all their Tier 10s that they had and stuff. That's ridiculous. Forget it if you're a Tier 8 in this kind of a game. How are you ever going to do anything unless you're... Maybe if you're autoloader, you could. I don't know. I think this is not a cool... I just think this is ridiculous. Anyway, that's what I have to say on these two tanks. Let me know what you think about them. They're ridiculous. I think Tier 10 is completely ruined now. Yeah. So they really need to buff up the armor on the Tier 10 heavies to like 300 millimeters or something, so that you should be able to get some bounces. But now you don't. So anyway, that's what I think about 8.9. There's a lot of other changes, but these are the major changes I wanted to cover. Let me know what you think about these two tanks, and I'll see you guys next time.